Hello everyone, here is the most overpowered Dead Ringer build for Vex in Borderlands 4, using her Reaper minions here to do some pretty insane damage. We'll also be using the Mantra Shotgun, which is obviously something we want to use on a melee focused build. As you can see there, you can take down every phase of this fight very quickly. So throwing off a Slippy Grenade here, you can see we're scaling up insane amounts of damage here. And then we're going to use Groundbreaker to obviously get those huge nukes in terms of damage, scoring the last 5 seconds worth of damage. And we're also using the target marker here to further increase our damage. And I'm using a combination of reverburnations as well as burnt offering, which is a skill that's going to further increase the amount of fire damage we're able to do, which, because we're going against a lot of red health bars in this fight, you can see there, even if I didn't get that off, I was doing this in Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 True mode, and you can still get platinum in both of these here. So this is a very powerful build. We're going to be scrounging around for ammo between rounds, throwing down all of our Reapers here, and as we go into the Thol the Invincible, tossing off our grenades, putting on that target marker again, and then just going ham with the Mantra Shotgun. Now, the thing is, we got to be constantly moving around so we can grab any extra damage, but reverburnations with that burned offering gives us a pretty huge spike to the overall fire damage that we're dealing. And if you're going against general mobs, this is also extremely powerful due to Jacobs being obviously very good for that, but there is a good flow to this, but our damage output is so insanely high, as you see there. This is because of a few reasons. Reverburnations giving us bonus incendiary damage here, which is pretty crazy. And this is scaling off melee damage, which we have a gun that can do that, and our minions as well. We also got higher specs here to be able to apply our Groundbreaker really easily, and then Burnt Offering is further increasing our incendiary damage because that's most of the health bars that we're going against in this fight. This extra boost does help a lot. And you can also spec out of this if you don't want to go against Subjugator and Thol the Invincible, but it is very powerful. And the regular green skill tree for Vex here, giving her increased crit damage, gun damage, and crit chance. And then activating our kill skills, because taking out enemies in Subjugator and Thol the Invincible is really hard on critical hits, which we can get from our minions as well. So you can toss your minions out and actually have all your kill skills activated. And we got a lot of melee damage here with the Mantra, the Slippy as well, Stray here, which is great for mobbing, but you can get this with the target marker to give 35% extra damage. Then if we have Enrage, that's further increasing our damage. And since we're doing multiple instances of damage with reverburnations, this scales up really high. And this is pretty similar to the build that I started whenever the game first came out. So right at the start here, going with either Fell Inscriptions or Sanguine Fiends here is great. Whenever we get kills, we restore health. That obviously is very good because we want our minions to last as long as possible. Gun damage and the reload speed, it's nice to have extra reload speed. This is actually a skill you can take instead, but we're gonna go for further increased melee damage and max health capacity here. The rest of the skills here aren't really super impactful, so we're going to grow with Grave Fiends, which is one of the best in the skill tree. Kill skill, which can now scale up to 6 stacks once we get to the green skill tree, and this gives us extra damage on ourselves and our minions. Now, Burning Attunement isn't amazing. If you're going to be using a fire weapon, you can swap between the swappers to get this extra crit damage, but I found that Recurrence just is a little bit better, especially general mobbing and things like that. This gives our minions extra melee damage, which scales up quite nice. We also want to grab the very overpowered Reverburnations here because this gives melee damage a chance to deal incendiary melee damage on top of that. And the melee damage gets all those impacts that we got previously, so it is insane. We're also going to take later on Burnt Offering. This just further boosts up our incendiary damage. Not necessary at this current moment, but it is an option you can go with. Afterwards, we're going to grab Grave Sights here, which kill skill gives us increased critical hit damage and gun handling. We're also going to take a single point of guns and needles. This is typically something you want to do anytime you're taking kill skills because this will at least give you your Repkit back really fast. We're also going to grab Grave Implements here. This can give ourselves up to 120% extra gun damage, and this is really good because we can also take a specialization to add that to our minions as well. So they get to double dip on it. I guess single dip because we're not going to be using the gun damage ones here. Grave Power gives us increased max stacks, and Bleed. Now Bleed is really good because skill critical hits are things that our minions can do, and this is going to happen often. This is just another, like, Bleed did get nerfed, but it's still one of the best skills in Vex's skill tree. Furthermore, we can take Keen Mind, which gives our minions that critical hit chance, which will give us Bleed. So skill damage is very encompassing. It's not action skill damage, so we can get this on our Reverberation. It is just a really nice thing to have in addition to this. Mortal Terror there gives us the activating our kill skills when we get critical hits. So you can use the crit knife obviously to stack that up really quickly, as our minions are going to be doing a lot of crits if you have that option. After this, we were going to come back to the blue skill tree. I should have mentioned this a bit sooner. Haruspex is really good because Subjugator is very hard to hit. There's a lot of times where I was doing a few different melee builds and you can double jump and still miss him really easily. Like I did a video yesterday for Harlow and her blue skill tree, which is also quite insane. Can get the platinum time. I encourage you to check it out because blue Harlow is quite not that good, but it is now. With this here, Haruspex gives us a way to hit it from range. And it's a kill skill, so this will let us do this often, so that is really nice. You could take Pincushion here, but you do have to get 3 of these, and it's honestly not really worth taking. For our final 4 points, I like Burned Offering. Since again, Subjugator and Thol the Invincible, we're doing a lot of fire damage, and this is going to further scale that up even more, and using the mantra, that's going to even further boost the damage. But there's other options, like if you want reload speed, because that kind of is a difficult point with the mantra having a long reload, although I didn't find it to be much of an issue. I found this to work very well. Blood is Magic is another consideration because this increases our skill damage the higher our health. I have a couple rolls from the class mod. Skill damage is nice because that's again our action. It's our action skill and our minions here as well. So it's kind of between those two for the best. You could also go with one of these others. Like there's a lot of decent ones in Vex's green skill tree. This gives him increased gun damage, which turns into our skill damage. It's really between Blood is Magic and that. I'm going to go with Blood is Magic. They're very comparable. This gives us 60% extra skill damage at max health. We have life steal, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Now, we only have really one capstone option, the Grim Reaper. I really like the Dark Pact and then taking Hellish Harvest and the Coven here, but it just doesn't fit, obviously, with the amount of skills that we have available. So we're going to throw on Hellish Harvest. This gives our Reapers some extra sustain here, so they're going to do this every 3 attacks. It gives them 50% of their maximum health per hit, so if there's a lot of enemies nearby, this can be really good. Now, if you do want to mix in Spectres alongside this, they will give critical hit chance. The health regeneration isn't like super amazing by any means, so Coven's not really like my go-to option. They're good together, but Hellish Harvest will be more than enough. Basically, we want our minions out to be there as much as possible so that they can potentially stack Reverberation so that we can groundbreaker it with Harvest specs. The blue skill tree actually combines together very well, especially with the, all it takes is one good item to make something even more powerful, and that was the mantra. And you can use the stones to destroy the stones or use the mantra to get the mantra because this is a splash damage weapon. So it's good against vile crystals. And the best part about it is it can come with a Jacobs and a Ripper part and it's Maliwan, so it's got the swapper. I would recommend having a fire one. I have fire corrosive and a fire shock one here. This is the best possible damage roll, I'm pretty sure. The faster the fire rate, the better too, because that gives you, if you have the Ripper part, a faster charge off of that, which is great. But what we're going to be using for our class mod, I just think the Team Witch is like one of the best in slots for Vex. It can come with a variety of different rolls. I just have this one here with skill damage and I threw skill craft on it, but skill damage is really good since we have so many skills that we want to boost up our damage in. This also comes with rolls. Grave Thirst gives us a lot of sustain. All of them end up being in the red skill tree here, but there is a green skill tree version or green skill tree skill that you can get. Grave Thirst will give us life steal for a duration. I'd like to have more rolls into this because this just gives your minions so much survivability. Corporeal will give increased damage dealt when you have overshield, which is just good for your overall damage. And Blood is Magic, more points than that, obviously, the more skill damage, really good, especially on a class mod that gives built-in life steal, so you can do some pretty crazy stuff, but we're dealing so much damage that we're getting an insane amount of life steal anyway. It can also come with rolls in conjunction. I have a few that have that, but I prefer going with the other rolls. Ideally, like 5 Grave Thirst, I think is pretty solid. Just gives you, like, you're unkillable at that point, but this is a kill skill, so it goes up to 6 stack. The Scion class mod is another fun option too, because with this you can get extra bleed damage off, which is great. There's a lot of different roles for Team Witches that I find well. The Misericord here can actually further boost up our skill damage, and this can stack up to 50 times. So that can be actually a kind of fun one as well if you wanted. And configuration with an underbarrel can also work well. So if you have the potato thrower, you can actually max that or throw that onto the build and do some pretty silly stuff with it. But I like Team Witch. It's just one of the best items in all of Borderlands 4, so I like rolling with that. Watts for dinner, since we got the Team Witch, these obviously fuel into each other. Getting overshield steal means Watts for dinner can then give the amp. So you really want to find that triple Watts for dinner amp. This is a hard roll to find. So even if you have like a siphon and a one like that, or even Cinder Shelly, because this gives you damage reduction, that can also be a good choice. And even Super Soldier can be a decent choice. And if you're mobbing the fireworks, but best in slots, obviously the Watts for dinner. This thing is insane. The extra shock damage just scale up our damage quite an insane amount. And to pair that with it, I'd like to get a Quintain Jacobs Enhancement here, giving ourselves a +1 ricochet. This is good, especially during the first phase, because you shoot the eyeball and have it ricochet around to the extra mobs in the arena, looking for gun damage so that we can add that to our action skill. I also got one with shotgun magazine size. That helps out quite a bit with the mantra because it has 13 round magazine. You can get that up to 24 with this, so that can work well too. I should also mention I really like the phase pocket skill because this gives 10% magazine size, which helps out because we have 5-round bursts where we're trying to deal as much damage to get groundbreaker to go off, so this can help. The extra 20% chance to grant a critical hit is also very good for the boost to overall damage. For our ordnance, the slippy grenade is crazy because this will get attuned to whatever damage type that we're doing. It deals melee damage, which we have a lot of ways of increasing our melee damage. And on top of all that, if you can find one with a critical hit chance, that is amazing as well. Otherwise, the critical hit knife, this activates our kill skills pretty much immediately. You throw out your Reapers, they're going to get a 90% critical hit chance, and you also deal increased damage to them, so that is taking all the extra damages on top of like reverberation and everything, so this can be really nice as well. These are like the two best for most of Vex's builds, and Slippy is just so powerful. And our triple bypass, I like to roll with this, but you can honestly get by with the kill spring's probably the better true option here. I just had one here with the enrage, and this gives 30% extra damage dealt, which is crazy. You take more damage, but that's not really a worry when we are dealing insane damage to get insane lifesteal. So yeah, triple bypass can be just a fine option as well. But true best is probably like the kill spring, or even the war paint would be a decent option as well, but hey, this is pretty solid. Firmware, Skillcraft, need I say anymore? This thing is insane. Skill damage increases, skill critical hit chance, and those crits allows us to activate our kill skills a little bit easier, so this is just really good. And then dealing skill damage will further increase it up to 50%. So again, all of our skills are getting massive boost. So that's our action skill, bleed, and reverburnations. It's nuts. Also, Real Big Fist has one of the biggest bangs for its buck for a 2 out of 3 option. This gives a melee damage plus 25 twice, which is giving us a lot of extra damage since we're dealing pretty much purely melee damage. So that leads right into the mantra. This weapon is insane. Again, if you can find a Ripper or Jacobs, one of these with a fast fire rate, that damage roll on it, that's the optimal roll that you can find. But even if you don't have the maximum damage, that's all right. You're just looking for a fire damage version of these. These also shred Bloom Reaper. So yeah, throw a Slippy, shoot this a few times. Bloom Reaper's first phase is down almost immediately. It's really crazy. In addition to this, the Stray, as mentioned, getting that target marker, every extra boost to damage that we can get, like Enrage and this, is amazing because we stack both of those together and then start blasting away with this. It boosts up our damage to an insane amount. Reverburnations is getting scaled up, and then we go with the Groundbreaker to further just blast away. It takes out Subjugator and Thol really quickly. I also like, just for general mobbing, Flash Cyclone, Jacob's Ripper as always, everything Jacob's Ripper in this game. If it comes with Jacob's and Ripper, you bet you want it with Jacob's and Ripper. The new Juliet Sparkle is a good weapon though as well, as it can come with a couple different damage rolls. And my personal recommendation is to find a pistol ammo one. Pistol ammo isn't amazing, but you're gonna run through ammo with 2 big shotguns that eat through it with Ripper, fast firing shotguns, a sniper rifle, and then submachine gun, assault rifle, pistol. Get a double ammo type and you'll be laughing. And the Juliet Sparkle does come with a lot of those. The Jailbroken Gatling comes with a shotgun loader though. I tried it, doesn't really fit this well. The Dark Beast is another good option too. I have a pistol one there, not really great damage, but it's something. And Stray is just one of the best weapons in the game. Great to throw it on. I like the shock one just for the start because you can have your shock one out, summon in your minions, and then you're really just using this for the damage marker in Subjugator and Thol, but otherwise you just want a regular old kinetic one. And I am working around on an order build for a Vex, so you expect that over the weekend because I'm still messing around with it. But the new firmware is actually pretty crazy. Which brings us to our specializations. Now, the most important is Groundbreaker. Gun, action skill, and ordnance damage gets stored. Melee attacks and slams deal bonus kinetic damage based on the stored damage and consume it. This is insane. Basically, you have 5 seconds to do as much damage as possible. The mantra's full clip, a grenade, and your target blaster, and you're doing an insane amount of damage. So go in, use your Hara specs, which is really easy to trigger because it's a kill skill, so blast away with that. Bare arms will give our melee damage, those gun damage increases, making the mantra even more deadly. This is just a really good one. Anytime you use the mantra, it's an inevitable piece to it. I am a gun will then take our gun damage increases and give it to our minions as well. This is a good choice, but it's not fully necessary. You can go a CQC here, which is going to give yourself an increased fire rate, which it's on melee damage, which we're obviously doing often, and the mantra does actually trigger that. Contamination's never a bad choice as well to apply bleed a little bit easier. Since we're doing a lot of critical hits, this can actually be very effective. And even relieve this is not a bad option at all. You can swap off CQC, but that 30% extra fire rate is pretty nuts. So yeah. So basically, against Subjugator and Thol the Invincible, you want to summon in your big Grim Reaper here. You want to activate him first. We're going to pop in a couple Reapers here. Shoot him, don't miss like I just did. Oh god. And then hit away with your mantra here. Now, this is something that we're trying to get as much damage off as possible, and then we're gonna go with our higher specs here. I end up missing that because the stupid invincibility here. So that is one of the only frustrations, is dealing with that. We got reverburnations that trigger really well, but you see there, it does insane damage. Swap to the corrosive one. And you want to run around grabbing ammo in between rounds. Toss out your grenades there, and you can see Thol's getting shredded. Go in for your, you don't have to do the melee, I could just threw the grenade. Actually, I didn't have hero specs there. And just blast away till he's down. Run for your ammunition, and by this time we'll have our target marker back, and hopefully I will not miss it this time. There we go. And then we're just gonna swap over to our fire damage versions of these now, so just blast away. Don't throw your grenades at this point, because those will wipe Thol out pretty quickly, and just hope that he doesn't get the invincibility here. Toss your grenade, or toss your thing there. That was not the best showing of damage, but yeah, it shreds really quick. And then once you get down here, I forgot to grab ammo, so make sure you have your fire out so that you pull out these here with the extra fire damage. And then what you're gonna do once that's all done is you're gonna shoot your target marker at right up his butt there, and then go away with our mantra, trying to get this as much damage as possible, throwing off your slippy grenades, going in for the melee. Oh yeah, that was good. Finish. It's insane how powerful this is. Subscribe if this video is useful, and I hope you guys all have a great day. We'll catch you in the next one.